looks like we are live.
Indeed.
And you know what that means. Wednesday night means welcome to the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat. My name's Evan, representing the very, very busy Blues of the Chelsea Football Club. This is Aaron, representing the Honorable Red Devils, who finished in the top four
Indeed.
of the EPL this year. And I know that you are extremely happy about that, my friend. We do have a little bit of news to talk about tonight as far as soccer is concerned, but we also have some global things going on.
Of course.
So I'm ready to dive in. First of all,
right on,
dude. You know I've had some stuff going on and things like that, but I feel like I've come out on the right end of it and everything, and I'm just happy to be here.
Well, good.
Happy to be here tonight,
I'm
man.
glad to hear that. And not a ton going on with our clubs just yet with regard to the transfer market. If we start with United, because there's even less to talk about there, it looks like the Sheikh Mansour, no, not Sheikh Mansour, Sheikh Jassim, Sheikh Mansour's one of the other potential owners of football clubs in the world. I believe that's City. But Sheikh Jassim seems to have taken the lead in the attempt to buy out the Glazers. It sounds like it would happen, like they would leave immediately rather than sticking around for a couple years, like Sir Jim Ratcliffe's proposal or his bid was.
So before you get into that, I have a question for you. Like, what do you think? Like, for years, people have been clamoring for the Glazers to get the hell out, right? They've just been like, get out of here. You guys don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Do people understand what they may be getting as far as if they switch?
Yeah, there is some concern about having this sort of almost state-owned, publicly funded kind of thing here, which is a weird way to put it when we're talking about billions of dollars. From a personal level, I would really prefer Jim Ratcliffe get the bid. He's a lifelong Manchester United fan, lives in England. He would probably be attending games. Ineos has a decent track record of when they get involved with teams. I believe he owns a club in France and a club somewhere else, maybe in a lower British league as well. I'm not quite sure. And I do think there is some concern about the whole sports washing aspect of a Qatari group coming in and doing basically what they've done with Newcastle and Manchester City and things of that nature. I think that's a much different type of conversation to be had. It's hard for an American to try to moralize to the rest of the world as to how money and sports should be handled, and who's funding terror and arms dealers and things like that, because I'm pretty sure our fingerprints are all over stuff. So
definitely.
I would prefer it be Ratcliffe just from the standpoint of he's a Man U fan, but the bid from the other group is slightly better from the standpoint of it gets the Glazers out right away. They're promising direct and immediate investment into the training ground, into the stadium, and as well as the squad. And that's something that,
I was going to say, you got to feel a little torn about that.
It's tough. Old Trafford hasn't been improved for almost 20 years now. The training ground famously is just way behind the times, as Cristiano made clear on his way out. And you know what? He wasn't the only person who said it. So it wasn't just, sour grapes from the guy. We need improvements. In a lot of areas. I think both of these people will do it. How quickly they would manage to get it done, I think, is the bigger question mark. I just want to see the sale get done, because I think we're beginning to see this thing lingering on, and it's starting to have an impact on our ability to convince players to come here, to sign players. I don't know what Mason Mount is actually worth. I know he, like any other, he comes with the British tax that you pay. You kind of overpay for British talent in England. So there's that aspect. I don't really know how he would get used in Manchester United's current lineup. I don't know if Ten Hag is planning to change, formation and strategy a little bit. I think what we've been doing has been working.
Sure. Do you think he's trying to bolster the bench and trying to say, hey, look, you can come off? Now, I'm not saying that you bring Mount off the bench, but you can have those, those cogs that you can put in and be like, okay, we don't even miss a beat, which is what City does.
Yeah, I obviously you want to have multiple guys at every position, and those guys to not be identical, but provide you a certain amount of flexibility and bring slightly different skill sets to the table. So I've seen people plugging in Mount, where Christian Eriksen currently occupies. And again, Eriksen is wrong side of 30.
Sure.
He's obviously had health issues. Played great for us this year, but, there probably isn't going to be the kind of life left in those legs for several years to come. And you're going to want to use him, maybe in particular games. And maybe Mount does a lot of the grunt work over the course of the season. He does well to get forward. He weighs in with goals here and there. Feel like, his time has come to an end at Chelsea. He wants away.
Right.
And, we'll get to this in a second, but, him going to a direct rival in Manchester United just seems a little strange, and Chelsea have historically not really done that.
Sure.
But the only other real transfer news we're hearing about is that it sounds like they've reached an impasse with David De Gea with regard to an extension and trying to get him to take some fewer wages. Remains to be seen if we can get a goalie of that caliber to be able to come in. Obviously, we want a more ball-playing goalie back there. I think it doesn't need to be a priority right now, but again, if we can't get a contract signed, then he could walk away for free. Sounds like Saudi Arabia's in for him as well. So, it might just be in our best interest to go ahead and do it and take our chances in the market. It's really about it. The whole Harry Kane saga is dragging on. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I don't see Daniel Levy selling Harry Kane to Manchester United. I really don't.
No.
I'd be more inclined to talk about guys that are obviously going to be leaving. Harry Maguire is going to go. Anthony Martial is going to go. Phil Jones has probably already left. There's going to be a handful of players that are definitely walking out that door.
McTominay?
That's a tough call. We are a bit heavy in the midfield, and especially if we land Mount, it begs the question. That said, when Casemiro got himself suspended and Eriksen was hurt for that period of time, it became very obvious that we do not compete at the same level with a tandem of Fred and McTominay,
right.
as we do, with Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno as our midfield three there. So,
but I think McTominay did a decent job, playing stopgap whenever,
Well, and there's the thing. How many guys do you need to be there just to be available? I prefer
Chelsea learned the hard way.
I prefer Fred in that role. I think he brings more energy. I actually think he's got more technical ability that he doesn't often get to show.
Okay.
He starts next to Casemiro for the Brazilian national team. That probably should count for something. And he seems to be very okay with that role. Another area, and we haven't used him like this, was a bit of a shock to me, but McTominay can play central defense. He plays there for Scotland from time to time, and he played very, very well. I believe it was either at the Euro or the World Cup, I can't remember which. But he spent a lot of time back there and seemed to be able to be okay. So, again, maybe we don't need to go looking for another center back with the guys leaving. We've got Eric Bailly, who's maybe coming back from loan that might be able to be used. For me, it's all about getting a striker in. That's which is true for so many teams.
Yeah.
But you're Manchester United. You're getting, back to where you want to be as a club. You have got to bring in a big-name striker. Now, he doesn't necessarily have to be 28 years old and named Harry Kane, but he does need to be proven. We can't go for some 19-year-old kid and hope he turns into a superstar. We need goals now.
Yes.
So, Victor Osman, I think that's a long shot. Been linked with Rasmus Højlund, who, again, I think is maybe a little too young to be taken on that role just yet. But, we'll see. And, there's a lot of time left in this window.
Right.
And if we get the sale done, I guarantee you that if it's Sheikh Jassim, that he's going to be dipping into the market the same day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He will spend some money to make a point.
Yeah.
And hopefully it has some sense of cohesion rather than as we transition to Todd Boehly. So
yeah.
We kind of touched on it in talking about Manchester United.
Yeah.
There's some speculation that the PIF groups in Saudi Arabia perhaps have some involvement with Clear Lake, which is the sort of ownership consortium that Todd Boehly is sort of the head of.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it, and I don't really fully understand all the ins and outs of it. If you're not a fan of Chelsea, then you're probably looking at it and saying this seems a little bit unfair. I don't think it's quite the same thing as what City's been doing over the years as far as, money off the books and things of that nature. I don't think it's quite that sketchy. But again, when you're coming in as a new owner in a place like the Premier League, a lot of spotlight, and you've just gone through what you've had to with Roman and the Russian stuff and all that, I don't think you want to give any semblance of impropriety. So what do you think about that, and what do you think about, the players that have been linked with leaving, the players that are linked with other teams in the Premier League with, Kovacic and Havertz, not just Mount, but there's two more guys that are being considered to go to rival teams.
Well, I don't think they're considered. I think it's a done deal. I think Kovacic is at Man City, and I think that Havertz is going to Arsenal, which is just absolutely, I said it in the comment before. I'm like, you know what? I'm not worried about that because in a lot of our minds, it's like, okay, yeah, Havertz can take some of the pressure off of Jesus. Kovacic, I think, can get in there and really provide some really great backup to.
Yeah, I don't think he's starting
the mid, and stuff like that. I think he's going to slowly become that super midfield sub. But in my opinion, we're rebuilding, and who we gave these people to, I'm like, that's not so bad. The Mason Mount thing, last time I checked, I didn't think it. Man, you offered 40 plus 5, you said.
Yeah, something like
and
that.
And then they offered 50, and they said no. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do agree with you. I think Mount wants out, and I think that it would be foolish of us to keep him. The 4 players linked with the Saudis as far as going and playing there. N'Golo Kante is already a done deal. He's gone. But Koulibaly, Edouard Mendy, and Hakim Ziyech are also linked with these guys. As a Chelsea fan, and I know you said that anybody who's not a Chelsea fan is looking at this going, as a Chelsea fan, I'm like, guys, do we want another Abramovich-type thing going on here in the fact that you have the world's eyes kind of looking at you?
Yeah.
Yes, Abramovich is gone because, started a freaking war against Ukraine. But the same type of international questioning, like, okay, what's going on here? You linked it to, and rightly so, kind of what City is been fighting against and things like that. As a Chelsea fan, I don't want that.
Right.
Todd Boehly, you came in and you spent a whole bunch of money and you tried to do what you thought was right, and it turned out not.
Yeah.
You need to suck it up, and you need to be like, look, we're going to cut our losses. We're going to do it the right way because we have been under a microscope, in my opinion, since this whole thing came out with Abramovich and him being connected, and, the oligarchs and all that stuff. We've been under a microscope, and I don't want that anymore. I don't want that kind of cloud over the team. Yeah. And all this does is it raises eyebrows.
Absolutely.
Those 4 players, as much as it hurts me to say, because remember, I thought Koulibaly could be a central figure with Fofana in the backfield.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
But nevertheless, I'm okay with them leaving. But I'm not okay with the circumstances in which it seems like it's happening. Yeah. It seems wrong. And I think that's not where we need to go. We're rebuilding. I think that what Man U did when they transitioned to Ten Hag and everything like that, they really kept Man U. I feel like Chelsea is getting a favor.
Potentially,
yeah, potentially getting a favor to unload all these guys. When these guys can be unloaded, maybe for a little less, but they can be unloaded.
Yeah.
I think and I'll end on this. I think, Rebecca from Ted Lasso said it best. When is enough? How much money is enough?
Yeah.
It's like you don't need all this money. Dude, just do it the right way.
Well, and I've got huge question marks over all these players moving to Saudi Arabia. And don't get me wrong, it would be very, very difficult to be in the twilight of your career and have somebody come along and say, instead of taking, a pay cut and, spend a little bit less time, out on the field, we're going to make you the face of this league over here, and we're going to triple your salary. My hesitation is we saw this happen with China about a decade ago, and we saw a lot of players flee to China.
You just got through saying Oscar, right?
Yeah, Oscar for Chelsea is a prime example. I mean, he left. The quality of the league was nowhere near the standard it needed to be for him to continue to play at a high enough level to play for his national team. Now, the immediate retort to that is, look how well Ronaldo has played after these couple of stints. I wouldn't use him as your example. I mean, the guy is
Cristiano Ronaldo. Come on.
The guy's made out of something that just about no other athlete that's ever graced this planet. I mean, you have to talk about Cristiano in the same terms as a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant. I mean, these guys transcend the sport and are so competitive and play at such a high level that, Jordan could have let himself just play pickup basketball for a little bit, and he'd have still been one of the best players on the U.S. men's national team.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't think that is, but you're going to start seeing a lot of these guys go. I don't think the level of professionalism is probably there, it's already come out that Cristiano's fallen a bit foul of the authorities over there for some of his behaviors.
Oh, really? I haven't heard this.
He made a vulgar gesture in a game, which can get you jail time.
Whoa.
I don't think he's a big drinker, but he does drink. There's pretty strict enforcement about a lot of that in certain places. Saudi Arabia is a Wahhabist country. Go look it up. I think some of these guys are going to get there, and it's going to be a massive culture shock. N'Golo Kante is a quiet kind of guy. I don't think he's ever been a big partier off the field or anything like that. But I could see Lukaku maybe getting there and going, hey, what's going on? I was having fun in Milan there for a while.
Where's my wine?
So, it remains to be seen. The Saudis are making a big move right now with the whole golf thing, and now trying to, buy up all these players. So, I hope a year from now we're having a different but positive conversation. I do have my doubts.
Yeah. I don't know. I just see the influence of the sport. Here, in my mind, I just formulated this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is the EPL in 5 or 10 years, is it still going to be the cream of the crop league?
Yes.
In the world? Okay.
Yes.
You don't think money will pull people away, or?
It isn't sustainable. I know the Saudis have a ton of money, but I just don't see fans packing 60, 80,000 seat stadiums week in, week out to watch aging footballers. Ronaldo's a draw in a unique way. Is Romelu Lukaku? Is David De Gea? I mean, if David De Gea plays for a good team, you paid a bunch of money to watch a guy stand around. You did. I mean, that's really what you're getting.
That's what my students say about
it. Right? My tuition goes to this. Are you kidding me? I don't know how sustainable it is in the long run to be paying guys, well beyond market value. Yeah. And again, if the quality isn't there, you're going to have guys coming back to their national teams going, guys, you don't want this. And again, like you said, we already make enough money, right? I mean, whatever team buys Harry Kane, the man's going to be on several $100,000 a week.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw how it wasn't sustainable in Real Madrid for all the Galacticos and most recently with Gareth Bale. And I don't think Real Madrid's hurting for money. But I just don't see how a league is going to be, predicated on that kind of disparity. Every team's going to have one guy that's 10 times as good as everybody else on the team.
Sure.
I mean, we saw how well that went in the MLS for the first few years.
Right. Well, speaking about different leagues, let's divert our attention to talking about Chelsea a little bit. There you go. I spent some time in May in Germany, so let's go to the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Nkunku.
Yeah.
I like the way this kid looked.
Yeah.
Christopher Nkunku is from Leipzig.
Yep.
Leading scorer for them, I think, past 2 years.
Yeah, I believe so.
And did he lead the league last?
That I'm not sure.
I can't remember. But anyway, he was one of his top scorers. Yes.
Halftime shots good this morning for the two of us.
Oh, excellent. Okay. We will wait. We will wait.
Yep.
Our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends here at Chatham Fishers, Claire and JoJo, will be joining us for the halftime shot. But I'm excited about this kid. I really am. He has a lot of potential. Claire signed off on him, and it's like, yep, this guy's good.
No, he's a nice player. Especially since we have no idea what Pochettino. Hey, we got the whole gang
we have
here.
the whole gang here.
We got Mikey, we got Clairvoyance, we got JoJo Beans.
There we go. And what do we? You know what? Let's
just a Chatham Tap, baby.
Chatham Tap on
Thanks for
a
us,
wonderful
as
summer
usual.
evening. There you go. You guys are awesome. Slanty.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that hit. Oh, that hit. Thank you, JoJo.
This is the rub when you have this much change going on all at once, and that is, I know Christopher Nkunku is a good player. Look,
Yes.
Everyone we've talked about tonight are good football players to a person. Do they fit the strategy? Do they fit the formation? Do they fit the character and mindset of their manager and the system that they want to play? And are they willing to be bad at it for a while until they get good?
They have to follow, and
Because
they've got to follow what Man U did. I mean, Man U said, okay, Eric Ten Hag, here's the deal. These are the guys we have. You do what you need to do with them. Wink, wink. Can you get rid of Cristiano for us? And he did it. I mean, and to their benefit, he's created a team.
Is Mauricio Pochettino a big enough character?
I think so.
I'm genuinely asking the question because what I'm saying is, I believe Christopher Nkunku is a really nice footballer. I think Mason Mount's a really good footballer. I've watched them both play quite a bit.
Yeah.
Where are they going to play? What's the system? What are they going to be asked to do?
Right.
If Christopher Nkunku is expected to score 20 goals a season for
That's
Chelsea,
not going to work out.
That's not going to work
That's
out.
not going to work out.
And the real problem is you've tried to platoon that over the last couple of seasons, and it's never really worked.
Yeah.
You, much like Manchester United and some other clubs, you need a number 9.
Yes.
You need a true number 9.
Yes.
Rom has made it clear he's not coming back to play for you. So you're kind of back to square one. And here's the what's worse is right now you're assuming these transfer deals that we've been talking about go through. Right now, you have one striker. And Raheem Sterling is only sort of a striker.
So here's what I would do, though. I think Poch, he's known, at least what he did in Tottenham, he's known for having, that one striker for the most part, Kane. But then he would bring Son, and he would bring another person, and then he would automatically make this team switch, pretty much seamlessly to a 3-prong attack up front. I could see Chelsea using Nkunku and Sterling as that pressure. Enzo, Mudryk, James. I think James and Chilwell on the side there. You could bring in. There's so many options that you have. I think you could have a really good squad if you can get those front guys to kind of be that kind of fluid attack like Tottenham had when Poch was there. I really do think that could happen in Chelsea, and it is that platooning.
Yeah.
But it's platooning 2.0.
Not to go too deep in the weeds with it, though, but Poch was able to do that because of the kind of striker Harry Kane is. Harry Kane has no problem dropping 50,
we are
60
talking about
yards.
Harry Kane.
But but the type of striker he has no issue dropping 56 yards from goal, picking up the ball and being the sort of the start of the attack. Laying it off to Son to carry and run against guys, and then Harry gets himself in the box and he's there to feast on the scraps or get a header from across and things like that.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful player, but it's not a lot of strikers. I mean, Cristiano doesn't want to do that.
Right.
He didn't want to press either. He very much wanted to be like, I will score goals if you put the ball near me.
Zava.
Right. Whereas, I don't think they're the same players, but I would compare, Harry Kane with like a Wayne Rooney. Wayne had no problem coming, almost to his detriment. You'd see Wayne at the edge of his own 18 picking up the ball after a corner, and you'd be like,
weeds,
dude, get the hell up front. So it takes a special kind of player and a special manager to recognize the player has that skill set and then be able to transform that into the system.
Yeah.
And, we saw last season, honestly, it just looked like Chelsea never had 11 guys on the same page.
Right. Exactly.
So you're going to spend 2 months at the beginning of this season feeling that way, unfortunately.
I thought about this the other day, and it's almost like, when we would play, backyard football.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were 3 or 4 guys that were like, hey, I want to be quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait, no. We just need one quarterback.
Right.
We need the other 3 you guys just to fill in spots. Well, no, I want to be quarterback. And instead of, doing the thing, they were in their heads like, oh, I want to be quarterback. And it's like that is exactly what was going on with Chelsea is that, as much as, mostly Potter, but Tuchel at the beginning of the season, Potter, as much as they tried to mess around with things, it's like we said this before. Mess around a little bit, but then get your 11 guys.
Yeah.
And just say, okay, this is it. We're riding with these guys. Unless somebody gets a devastating injury or somebody absolutely, screws the pooch, we are riding with these 11. But that never happened. Like every week, it was a different lineup, and it was trying to figure out who can play with who and stuff. And I'm like, it kills. It just really kills the momentum of a team.
Absolutely. I totally agree, and really, we just have to give them time.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good start that there are several players linked with leaving the club, not because I dislike them, but you need a fresh start.
Yeah.
And whoever sticks around, you need to have, Poch needs to walk in and have a conversation and say, this is what I want and need from you. This is where I think you fit in this squad. And then they get to make other decisions. Do I want to be a part of that kind of thing? Right.
So I think that there's, once again, Chelsea, I think, is a couple years behind where Man U was, and so we'll see.
Check your phone, make sure we actually are talking to the audience.
Oh, well, it says live video. Watch YouTube live now.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
I just want to make sure we're actually being heard.
Okay, we're on YouTube. Yep, we're good there.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Oh no.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, no. Please. Oh, yes. We're good. We're good. Woo.
See, again, if you'd like to be an intern for the Red and Blue Soccer Chat.
Oh, my gosh. Woo.
Send your resumes. To our
that would have been bad. That would have been bad, man.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good stuff to say. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've kind of ridden this horse into the ground here.
Yes.
I mean, both of us are really in a hurry up and wait kind of stage. I think we'll see a lot more movement from your club just because there's such a need for a lot of players to leave. We need some players to leave as well.
Right.
But I don't think there's the urgency.
You guys didn't have 500 people on your roster.
Harry Maguire is not going to be there at the end of the summer. We don't really need to worry about that. And here's the deal. As much as people can't stand the guy, if for some reason we can't get rid of him, as long as he knows he's the backup and your third choice center back, there's a reason Gareth Southgate still trusts the guy. Okay?
Yes.
He's a decent footballer. He just can't do what's being asked of him a lot of the time at Manchester United because they want to play a high line.
Right.
Make of that what you will, but the guy's kept a positive attitude through a lot of shit with his family taking crap, and I can't imagine the abuse he's getting online. So Anyway, that's my little side there. So let's switch to the red, white, and blue. So,
come on now.
In spite of just all of the doom and gloom that has been following the U.S. men's national team around, question marks over who the next manager is going to be, question marks as to which players are going to be brought into camp.
Yep.
Why are we prioritizing the Nations League versus the Gold Cup? Blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. We have come in and thoroughly just took apart Mexico.
Yes.
To the tune of 3-0. Unfortunately, along the way, we lost Weston McKennie and Serginho Dest to red cards. I think they were both kind of silly red cards to be picking up.
Yeah.
I appreciate Weston's kind of desire to stick up for his teammates and things like that. But you can get into the mix with guys without putting your hands up on somebody else's throat or face.
Yes.
And it could have been an accident, but I mean, he should have known better. Serginho, on the other hand, was just an idiot. That was absolutely stupid to do. There was no need for it.
That was a Zinedine.
And suddenly you put your own team in a situation.
Bro,
yes, it's 3-0, but you put your team in a situation to have to play down, knowing that these guys are going to have to play a couple days later. So to their credit, they saw the game out. I thought there were a lot of bright spots. I thought our passing that led to all 3 goals were fantastic.
Brilliant.
I thought Fuller and Balogun, on his debut, playing the way he did, was really excellent.
Yep.
Really enjoyed seeing the link up between Gio, Eunice, and Weston in the middle of the field. Obviously, Pooley did what he was asked to do, except for that one time where he dribbled through the entire defense and then skied it. So, it was positive, and then a couple nights later, they turn around and really Canada was not much of a threat either.
Boy.
I don't know how strong either of those Mexican or Canada squads were. I do know that the team that we put out is probably about as strong as we can at the moment, save for Tyler Adams being out through injury, and maybe your choice would be to not have Timothy Weah in a particular spot. But for the most part, that was a team that you would expect to see on the field for a big match.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of the consternation about, we're bringing a B squad or a C squad to the Gold Cup, blah, 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 blah. Well, we won a Gold Cup with that same group of players last time. We didn't have the top team.
What's the problem there?
But I think the big issue that U.S. soccer Twitter just can't quite get over right now is, there was all the turmoil at the end of the Cup.
No.
They let Berhalter go. They said they're hiring, third parties and independent reviewers and blah, 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 and having a thorough process for the whole thing, only to not only choose to have Greg Berhalter come back, but they announced it in the middle of the damn game.
Yeah.
So that just raises even more questions and makes you go, what the hell does U.S. soccer do? Does no one have plans? No one understand how clock works? So that's frustrating. That said, I don't have a problem with Greg Berhalter being a coach again, so long as he has the conversations that need to be had, which is sit down with Gio and say, hey, man, what went on with your parents and I has no bearing on you.
Yes.
And I know people will be like, well, that's bullshit. He didn't play him. Well, he didn't play him because he wasn't healthy and wasn't there during the build-up to the World Cup. And he had built 12 to 14 guys that were a cohesive unit and said, these are my guys. And Gio wasn't part of that because he wasn't healthy. Go ask Borussia Dortmund how that went.
Exactly.
Okay?
Right.
So I think we can all move on and say, we've had success. Anybody who says we haven't had success under Greg Berhalter, is it always pretty? No, not necessarily, but I'm sorry, everybody. We're not going to look like 2011 Barcelona ever.
Wait.
It's never going to happen. We are not going to play football like that.
Barcelona.
But what we are doing is creating kind of a rock and roll American style of get at you, really moving the ball well. We've got guys playing for top-level teams all around the world now, and it's coming together.
Yes.
Get out of the way and let it happen.
Yes, exactly. I couldn't say it any better, man. I think that people, and unfortunately, if kids are watching, please, mute it for the next 5 seconds. They need to get off of Berhalter's nuts, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just do. The team wants him there. Pooley said he wants him there. Yeah. It's like, this guy needs to be our manager. And, okay, just let him be their manager. If you've got the team behind him, then half the battle's won.
It's almost like a group of high-level, talented professional players have developed a relationship with their manager that brings the best out of everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, of course, Tanner sitting at home in his mom's basement.
Did you just say
stopping his Twitch stream so he could tweet out
Brock?
Greg Berhalter's bounce passes and his Nike tennis shoes aren't cool enough anymore is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you aren't willing to get behind this team right now, we've just reappointed the manager. You can dislike the process all you want.
Absolutely.
It happened. Are you a U.S. men's national team fan or not?
Exactly.
And if you aren't, then I don't want to hear from you.
Yes.
Go away.
That's it. That's it.
Battle cry.
No. Right there, my friend. Well said. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, as you will notice in our summer editions of our broadcast, we tend to go a little shorter, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. But I want to bring our attention to kind of where we were before with the Evan and Aaron show. The global game, local lads talking about the global game. It really does confront a lot of issues as well. Racism and bigotry and all that stuff, and it's a great thing. But it gives us a platform too to be able to discuss some things. We live in an area that is currently just taking books off shelves.
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing. It's an incredibly sad thing. But and this is not the Hey Aaron segment. This is not the final thought type segment. But I just wanted to kind of kick this around with you a little bit, bud. When we talk about school libraries, that's one thing, and I still feel the same way. But we're talking about public libraries now.
Right.
What do you got to say to this, man? Like, what is going on here?
Well, it's massively misguided. Especially in school libraries. I have no problem with parents, taking the time to get involved in their child's, learning. But so much of this is brought on by fear-mongering and a true lack of understanding. Are there possibly some books that are age inappropriate? I can have that conversation.
Sure. But
you see some of these school board meetings and people getting in each other's faces and, people are yelling at each other over a book about two male penguins. And I have bad news for you people who don't know a lot about science.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Penguins are often gay.
Yes. Yes.
You didn't know that.
Check it out.
You've come to the right place.
Go to the Googles.
But there's an awful lot here that's just silly. It's overreach. It is fear-mongering.
Yeah.
It's othering.
Yeah.
And because of how ridiculous a lot of these laws have been written, you've already seen a group fight back and exercise their right to be one lone person saying no one should be able to read this, and they got the Bible banned, which I think is hysterical.
I think it's great. I
don't think it's great.
No,
because
I do.
It illustrates the stupidity and futility of these types of laws, but it's what these people deserve to get thrown back at them.
Yeah.
And the book does contain a lot of senseless violence. It contains incest. It contains rape. It contains
Ezekiel
slavery.
23:20. Check it out if you don't know what that is.
Get into some Song of Solomon if you want. I mean, there's an awful lot in there that you read it and you're like, I'm not real sure my 5-year-old
It's like, this
should
is
be
in the children's
consuming
Bible?
this.
Holy.
So, it's just. It's silly. We're in a bad place right now, and the problem is I don't know how. We're starting to have these conversations that we had in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and I'm like, what? We've already kind of settled this, and if you don't want your child to read something, then all you have to do is say, I think this is inappropriate for my child. You place a little note with the school, and as far as I can tell, they're exempt from that. They'll get handed something else to read and do the book report on I don't know, gay giraffes or something, not penguins. But it's really disturbing, and it's disturbing to see this as a movement.
Yes.
A really concerted movement effort, and unfortunately, Republicans are fantastic at kind of worming their way into the machinations of state and local government, and that's why you're seeing a lot of this happen. You know, they're afraid of the word woke.
Oh yeah.
Yet they can't define it.
Right.
They're afraid of transgender people, but don't acknowledge they even exist.
Yes.
It's a really sad state of affairs, and it shows you what happens when we sort of champion anti-intellectualism, and it's been going on for a very, very long time, and we're seeing it now. We're seeing people, you know, more and more of these people in Congress who quite frankly, are just making fools of themselves every time they open their mouth on the House or Senate floor.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
They absolutely don't actually understand the Constitution, parliamentary procedure, and just how the government is supposed to operate. And then you add in their sort of hypocritical, really harmful, backward-ass ideology. I mean, really hard to call yourself the Family Values Party when more and more of your pastors and teachers and police officers and firefighters are getting caught up in child pedophile rings.
Yes.
It's kind of fun. It's almost like whatever they're accusing the other side of is actually what they're guilty of.
Exactly.
And I know everybody kind of always uses that no matter what side they're on, but man, it just seems more and more. So I'll get off my soapbox and just say it's a really, really bad trend.
Yeah.
I encourage more people to get out to their school boards. I don't have kids, but I want an educated populace. So I think I'll be showing up, and that's the last thing a lot of those folks want. So get out, speak up, and say this is wrong, and we're not going to stand for it in our community.
If you're in Hamilton County tomorrow night at the Noblesville Library at 6:30. At 6:30 is the library meeting. If you want to get out to that, that's great. Please do that.
Highly recommend it.
Yep.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what that has done is that has brought us to the Hey Aaron segment of our show tonight. You know what?
There's no Aaron music.
No, wait.
Belongs after that. Right?
There you go. Okay, so Aaron, I did not give you, and here's a secret, behind-the-scenes secret that I'm going to give away. I did not give you a prompt or anything about this. No. And I know that I posted about this on our site.
Ooh. Oh, all right.
The top 3 teams to look out for in the EPL season 2023 and 24. Top 3 teams to look out for in the EPL for next season. And if you can, obviously, elaborate on that.
So I'm not going to name any of the typical like Big 4, Big 6 kind of teams because I think no matter what, they're going to be in the running. Chelsea's going to recover. Liverpool's going to recover. They will be in the hunt. I think Newcastle is going to start causing some real problems, especially if they land Tonali from AC Milan. That shows some real ambition. That's the kind of guy that can come in and really elevate a team, much the way Casemiro has done for Manchester United. And you know, they've got a manager that they like. He seems to have a really good plan, seems to have a good relationship with the ownership group in identifying players. They've not gone crazy. They've not bought 25 guys and said, all right, this is how we're going to do it. They've really maintained some good continuity. And if they can upgrade in a few positions, maybe get themselves a more elite striker. I like Alan Saint-Maximin, but he's often hurt. He's very much like a Wilfried Zaha too, kind of plays off that wing, so he's not quite the natural striker as they probably need. But yeah, I mean, if they upgrade Newcastle, they will be in the hunt for a trophy late into the season. Can they sustain it? Are they there mentally or not? I don't know, but everybody kept waiting for this season for them to hit that blip, and they had a mini one there. I want to say in maybe February, March sometime, where I want to say they went winless for several weeks, but they righted the ship, and we were able to leapfrog them in the last 2 weeks of the season, but they were firmly top 4 and very deserving. So I'd be looking out for them. I think I said Newcastle, didn't I?
Yep.
Okay. So it's funny I'm mentioning Eddie Howe, but I think Bournemouth. They have new owners. They're on the South Coast, so that kind of will make them an attractive destination for a certain type of player. You know, You're not finding yourself in the Northwest or the Northeast where it's just going to rain all the time. It's coastal. It's kind of resortish. It's right across the water from France. So, I think they're going to be able to attract some players. And they've got a lot of money, so they're going to probably be able to do some things that they wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, simply because they've got big purse strings.
They were impressive at times this season.
They were. It's going to be about consistency for them, and that's difficult to do when you're bringing in new players. So we'll see how they manage that. They did get rid of their manager Gary O'Neill, but then they brought in.
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, I can't remember. Is he Italian or something like that?
I got you.
But that shows ambition as well. A third team. I'm going to say Aston Villa. I think the way Unai Emery had them playing toward the end of the year, if they start the season like that and can build that kind of momentum, they were battling relegation when Unai Emery took over, and all of a sudden, they were 7th, 8th place, something like that. So
Iraola.
Oh, okay.
For Bournemouth.
I think all three of those teams have had injections of money or managers or both. They're going to be able to attract some top level players because of that. Villa's been a well-run club for a while, so I think right there, without saying any of them are actually going to win much of anything, I do think Newcastle's going to be in or there about the top 4 again, and I could see Villa pushing for it. Probably not quite there, but pushing teams. And Bournemouth could be a top half of the table team by the end of the year if they get things together. So that's my 3.
Okay. Second part to that question.
Yeah.
The team is going to disappoint the most next year.
I think it will continue to be Liverpool. I think they are going to have some real struggles. I think there's a lot of older players that pretty much have to go, and if they don't, the team will suffer for it. Klopp might be reaching the end of this cycle for him. Either he brings in a lot of new players that he has a new influence on, or he may need a new challenge somewhere. I could see Liverpool, and they could just as easily come out and be a top 4 team again, really. But, I'd punt $5 or $10 on Liverpool having a struggle next year.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have it right there. That is the Hey Aaron segment of our show, which leads us to our final segment of the show, and it is Aaron's final thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get there, let me just say this. It has been, and I know it's coming, and no, it's not a jinx, but it has been an incredibly wonderful summer so far in central Indiana.
Yes.
Guys, listen, if you're not out and about, you need to get out and about. Come and join us. We'll be here for a little while at Chatham Tap Fishers. We love you guys. But, Aaron, give us some words, brother. I mean, beautiful day, things like that. There's still issues going on.
Well, what I want to say is I want to second that.
Yeah.
But I also want to give an example. We went to Wonder Road this weekend. It was a concert at Garfield Park. It was a festival concert. Indianapolis doesn't get a lot of those. And honestly, we just couldn't have asked for a better day. It was about 82 degrees, nice light breeze, some terrific bands. We saw local boys Audiodacity. The Dip were really nice. There was local natives. Weezer was the headliner. We didn't quite stick around for that because we needed to get the dogs looked after. But it was just an incredibly well put on festival. It's the second year for it. There shows no signs of stopping. It was 2 days, like I said, down at Garfield Park. Easy in, easy out.
It was awesome, guys.
Just really well done. Good food, good drinks, and excellent bands. So I would urge you. We got our tickets. I want to say we went ahead and bought tickets only a month or two after it was over last year. So be on the lookout because we got super cheap tickets.
I was going to say we bought tickets like a couple weeks before, and it was like, ooh, man.
I want to say ours were like $60 for both days. Wow. So take advantage of those deals. And remember, Indianapolis does have a lot to offer. There's a lot of great food that's been coming up in the city. Get out and about And if you see a spot or you read a spot on indie local foodies or something like that, pop in, support your locals, and doing that guarantees we have more of it. So enjoy your city, enjoy your state, enjoy the parks. We were was it Turkey Run? Voted 7th best state.
Yeah, Turkey.
State,
It was Turkey.
One of our state parks was voted one of the top 7 state parks in the country, or the 7th best state park in the country. So very cool. We have a lot to offer here. It's very easy to get around once you're out of Indianapolis and not driving on these stupid ass roads. But yeah, enjoy. For those of you who are into that sort of thing, a new dispensary has literally opened right across the border in Illinois.
Hey.
So if that's your thing, I would actually recommend going to Michigan. It's cheaper. That said, get out and about and come up and see us. Enjoy a drink with the two of us.
Absolutely.
And you'll get to see our twin sisters.
Yeah, there you go. And so from Aaron and Yvonne, we would just like to thank you guys so much for watching us tonight. Listen, hit us up on all the socials. We are on the Insta. We are on Facebook.
We're going to make Instagram tonight,
We're going to make it. Yeah, we're going to make it tonight. So, guys, listen, hit us up. We love each and every one of you. We also, and I'll just throw this out here, we've got a lot of things in the mix going on. We've got a meeting coming up with some people, and it's going to be great. And the boys are back. I'm just so happy, man. I'm so happy. Guys, listen, we love you. Have a great night. Aaron, what you got?
Hashtag say gay.
Hashtag Black People Vote. Deuces. Yes.